Thank you everyone for coming. We're very pleased and welcome that you join us today. And I would like to thank also Bumrungrad for this wonderful webinar. It is going to be very interesting talking about the immune system, which is very important for all of us to know. And also I want to especially thank Dr. Ketchai for his time we are all very excited to hear what you need to say. And of course, Ketchai for supporting and promoting this webinar. So without further ado, I pass it on to Dr. Ketchai and look forward to this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody here. So today we're going to have a brief talk about your immune system and also about the current situation, of course, about the COVID. It's the talk of the town right now. And also some little tips, some advices about both for your physical and mental health during this period, okay? Or not just this period, but in long term as well. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to talk about is what is your immune system? What does it do? Well, actually, we are surrounded by we call the organisms or pathogens, virus, bacteria, fungus, all everywhere. I mean, in the air, at the table. But fortunately, our immune system can they can deal with these organisms well. So that's why we're healthy for most of the time. Now, sometimes when there are some very strong virus or bacteria, such as this COVID outbreak, sometimes our immune system have a problem. We have a problem for dealing with it, to kill it, to eliminate it, or to stop the replication in our body. Actually, our immune system works like a troll. So it's like keeping aware in our system, in our bloodstream, to make sure that there's no abnormal or harmful virus, bacteria, fungus coming to hurt us in our body. So once they find that, our immune system can get rid of them. Now, the problem is, as I mentioned earlier, that sometimes the invaders are quite strong. And our immune system finds that it's quite difficult to deal with it. That's one part. The other part is that our own immune system ourselves, it might not be that strong enough. I mean, the problem is not about just the pathogens, but it might be our own self. For example, if we are not sleeping well, we drink a lot of alcohol, we smoke a lot, we're not using our life. I mean, we have a bad lifestyle. This all can affect our immune system. So even some normal virus comes into our body, our immune system might not be able to deal with it well. Okay, sir. So overall, there are two factors about the immune system and how can they harm us. The first thing is the virus or bacteria are very strong, and our system, our immune system, cannot deal with it well. Even we have a very healthy immune system. The second possibility is that the invaders are not that strong, but our immune system is too weak. Okay, so this is an overview about our immune system and what does it do to help us to get away from infections. Okay. Now, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, the next thing is I'm going to talk about how could we make our immune system as best as possible. The first and most important thing is our lifestyle. Lifestyle is very important. There are about 3 or 4 things that might, not might, but definitely will help to boost up our own immune system without any cost. Okay. The first thing is exercise. This is well proved from so many studies all over the world for many decades. So there are scientific proof, evidence that exercise definitely boost up our immune system. Not just our immune system, but our general health, our mental health. It makes us deal with stress better. It makes us sleep better. It makes us live longer, healthier, many things. So exercise usually has many benefits. Now, what exercise should we do? Well, if we talk about exercise, there are two main groups, aerobic and anaerobic, and cardio exercise. I'm sorry, cardio exercise and non-cardio exercise. Cardio exercise is the exercise, it includes exercises that, let's say, make your heart rate go up. That means you are tired. Jogging, running, swimming, cycling, these are cardio exercise or aerobic exercises. This helps about the circulation, helps about brain health, helps about your heart, makes you healthier. Okay, so this is one of the main exercises that people talk about. Now the other group is a non-cardio exercise. These include exercises that build your muscles up, or about strengthening your muscles or range of motion. For example, weightlifting, yoga. These are the non-cardio type of exercise. So for the best result, you should do both. Okay. Now, how long should we do the exercises? These exercises. Actually, in the past, we say that maybe just half an hour of each. I mean, half an hour of aerobic, half an hour of the non-cardio exercise. That means about an hour per day and maybe 3 or 4 days a week at least. But now, from the busy lifestyle of our social right now, so it might be difficult for everyone to do exercises 4 days a week, 5 days a week. So what we can do is, scientists have been doing research, and they found that we can do it as an accumulating effect. That means that you don't need to do it every single day for 5, 6, or 7 days a week. What you need to do is just do 150 minutes per week, and that would be fine. So if you do it 5 days a week, that means just half an hour per week. Per day, half an hour per day. So if you don't have much time, you have just 3 days a week, okay, you try to build it up to 150 minutes, and that would be fine for that week. Okay, so this is about exercise. The second thing is that healthy eating. That means a healthy diet. That is very important for everything, again, just like exercise. Not just for your immune system, but also for your own health. There are many research that shows that people who eat a lot of vegetables have a lesser risk of stroke or cardiovascular diseases, and also people who don't eat much calories live longer. So there are many. I'm not going through all the researches right now, but just to let you know that what do you mean by healthy diet, right? If you talk in general, healthy diet is you try to avoid, or eat less salt, less calories, less fat. Especially the processed fat that you see in the supermarkets, sausages, fast foods. So you should avoid those, and also avoid alcohol, avoid smoking. Everyone knows this. And try to, if possible, I think you've heard about the fasting, the interval fasting, right? So you eat for 8 hours a day continuously, and then you don't eat, you fast for 16 hours. If you cannot do that right away because you get hungry so easily and it might be too tough for you, maybe you start with a 12-12 first. So 12 fasting, 12 eating, something like that. And then you step up to 8 and 16. Okay, not eating 16. Don't switch it. Okay, eat 8 and fast 16. So interval fasting is something that is well proved as well, that it works really well for health and for losing weight as well. So other than this is the the fruits and vegetables that they contain antioxidants, they have supplements, they have multiple vitamins, which we know that all of these are important for not just for your body, for the immune system as well. So there are a bunch of vegetables that has benefits in terms of antioxidants and helps your general health. You can Google. I will not put the whole list here. It would take another half an hour for just this list. So you can Google and find a healthy diet or healthy vegetables or antioxidant food, and then you try to consume most of it, as much as you can from the list, and that could help. Okay, so this is about your diet. Now the third thing, this is very, very important as well, sleep. Actually sleep is important for everything in your life, in your health. Once you don't have enough sleep, not just your immune system, but your whole body will be ruined. Also, the lifespan would be shorter. There are many research that people who don't sleep well or don't sleep enough or very poor quality of sleep, their lifespan is shorter. And also, there would be more underlying disease coming up sooner than it should be. Okay, so sleep. How many hours of sleep do you need each day, each night? Actually, it depends on age. But I'll talk about in general as well. In age, because I'm talking about, to let you see the whole picture, that in newborns, you can see that they sleep almost all day, right? Maybe 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. And then once they've grown up, they sleep lesser and lesser. Teenagers, we try to let them sleep maybe 8 hours per day, or in elementary school, in elementary kids, maybe 10 hours. So the more you get older, the lesser sleep. But what is a minimum sleep that you should have? In adults or elderly, we try to keep it at least, for the best, it should be at least 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours. 6 hours is quite okay, not perfect, but acceptable if necessary, but it's not the best number. So if you can keep it up to 7, that would be great. For example, if you go to bed, and the timing of sleep is also important, not just the hours. It's useless if you have a 10-hour sleep, but you go to bed at 2 a.m. and you wake up at 12, right? You have 10 hours, but that is not good at all. You might have heard about what we call the circadian rhythm. A circadian rhythm is the day-night rhythm in our brain. So our brain has a natural clock to know that when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. For maintaining this rhythm, day is day when the sun comes out, something like that, and at nighttime when the sun goes down, to keep this rhythm for all of your life, for the rest of your life, that's very important for your health as well. People who work in shifts, or they have a nightlife too much, usually their health has some problems compared with people who have a good circadian rhythm. This is well proved as well from scientific data. So circadian rhythm is when it's nighttime, it's a time that your brain needs rest. Daytime, okay, your brain has there's some hormones coming out, some energy coming out to make you live your daily life, to do your work, to face problems, to solve problems, to do things. So at nighttime, it's time for your brain to rest. And at nighttime is a time that your brain would rebuild or repair the damaged part. Okay? Not just your brain, but your whole body as well. But brain is very obvious. So people who don't sleep well, or sleep too little, too short, or not deep enough, poor quality sleep, or even impaired circadian rhythm. So the shifting of the nighttime, right? As I mentioned, sleeping at 2 a.m., even you sleep 10 hours, it doesn't help your brain to build your to repair things in your brain, or even to replay the memory, to keep the memory tighter in your brain. So people who don't sleep well, their memory would not be good as well. The best time for going to bed to make your circadian rhythm well is about maybe not later than 11. 9 or 10 is perfect, but should not be later than 11. Okay, so if you go to bed at 11, you wake up at 6 in the morning, that's 7 hours. That's fine, as we mentioned, about 7 hours, right? In elderly, the sleep is fragmented, and that's normal. I mean, the sleep structure is a bit deteriorated in elderly. When you get older, you can see that if you're 60s, 65, 70s, you wake up in the middle of the night, right? So when you wake up in the middle of the night, but as long as you can fall asleep again within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's quite okay. I mean, for elderly, right? But for young adults, usually you should sleep through the night. Maybe wake up one time, going to the toilet, or wake up from whatever, but you can fall asleep again without any problem. That's still fine. The best indicator to see that you have a good sleep or not is when you wake up in the morning, do you feel fresh or not? So if you feel fresh, that means that you have a good sleep, right? That's as simple as that. That's a very simple indicator. Now, what you should do to have a good sleep. Again, there are about more than a dozen tips for a healthy or quality sleep. You can Google again for sleep hygiene. I'll tell you just the main ones right now. The first thing is try to go to bed at the same time to keep your natural clock in your brain constant, right? So the first thing is try to go to bed and wake up at a regular time. Number two is try turn off the lights, maybe some dim lights for in case you want to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, but not just bright light like this and fall asleep. Because if you've heard about melatonin, you've heard about melatonin, I guess, yeah. Melatonin is a hormone that is secreted at night to tell your body and brain that, hey, it's nighttime, you should rest, you should not be active anymore. So it comes out only at nighttime. Now, melatonin is secreted from the brain, just in the deeper part of the brain. The light here stops the secretion of melatonin, to make it simple. There's a receptor for light at the back of your eyes here. And while the light is stimulating this receptor will inhibit melatonin secretion. So melatonin won't come out when there's daylight like this, even lights in the room. So if you go to bed and you shut down the lights, okay, your eyes won't be exposed to light anymore. If when you close your eyes, even you close your eyes, but if there are some lights penetrate your eyelids. So it's still enough to tell your brain that, hey, it's still daytime or still some light. So melatonin will not come out or come out very little. And it might not be enough to make your body or brain rest with a quality rest. Okay? So if you shut down the lights when you go to bed, then there's nothing triggering this receptor, so melatonin can flow out freely. Okay, so turning off the lights when you go to bed, or a dim light is acceptable. This is another very important factor. Another important factor for sleep is in most people, not all, but most people, caffeine, tea or coffee might cause some problems for your sleep. I think many of you might realize that. So another advice is that avoid caffeine after 3 p.m. Okay, so but okay, this is individualized. Some people, for me, I'm out of the textbook. So when I drink coffee, I sleep right away. So that's a bit weird for me. So many people have this. It depends on your genetic, depends on your genes, that how can you work with this caffeine. Okay. Another thing that you should do is that maybe 2 hours before going to bed, don't activate your brain that much. For example, do heavy exercise 1 or 2 hours before going to bed, or even watching a very exciting movie, or have a meeting, a family meeting in some stressful issues just before going to bed, that would make your brain active and it would not fall asleep easily. Or even you fall asleep, it might be up again in the middle of the night. Okay, so these are the main, actually there's a lot more, but as I mentioned, I cannot tell you all here. Let me give you another one, because I think this is close to what we're doing every day. That is, during work, you should have breaks. Every hour, you should have a short break. The break that I mean is that just rest your eyes, your brain, and even walk around. Just walk away from your work desk and just do something that you forget all your work for 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. Go to the toilet, have a glass of water, talk to the girls or whatever, and then come back again. And then every hour you have this break. This is important. Why am I talking about this when I'm talking about sleep? Because it affects your sleep directly. The reason is, if you use your brain continuously, let's say that 1 hour, you can see my hands, right? On the camera, you can see my hands. I can show you the graph here. Your graph will, your brain activity would grow up like this, up and up and up. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then it will reach this level up here, very high. Let's say that the optimum or the best level for your brain is around this line. But now, if you go up 1 hour and then you exceed this 2, 3 hours, it will be this high. Now, at night time, your brain needs to be, the best for your brain is 0. That means your brain has a very good rest, a complete rest. That's here, down here, right? Your daytime work is here. Your sleep should be, your brain activity should be 0 here. So if you work 1 hour and you have a little break, it goes down here. And then another hour, when you reach this level, it goes down again. So it keeps the peak of your brain around this level. So after work in the evening, it goes down to 0 very easily, right? When you ease your brain down, you go back to your house and play with your family, do some, well, relaxing things. But again, not doing some serious thing at night or exercise too heavy at night, that would activate your brain level up again. So if you have breaks at daytime like this, it would go down to 0 easily in the evening or at nighttime. But if you go up here, here, 2 hours, 3 hours, your brain will be here at 5 p.m. after you finish your work. So it takes too long to reach 0 here. By the time you go to bed, it might still be at this level, not 0 yet. So you might feel that you fall asleep, because that is because your tiredness, your fatigue from whole day work, your brain, your physical, you might fall asleep. You feel that, hey, yeah, I fall asleep easily because I'm so tired. But then you realize that you might wake up in the middle of the night, or if not, you might wake up in the morning, but you feel that you haven't slept at all. Even you have slept all night, but it's a very poor quality sleep because your brain is still working while you're asleep, right? Because your brain is so high at daytime, so there's not enough time for it to go down before you go to bed. So that's why your daytime work is very, very important for sleep quality at night as well. So have breaks, okay? So, okay, I think I'll finish the sleep right now because I think it will be a sleep topic if I go further. You go in and find out in Google as well, sleep hygiene, okay? Search that, about 13, 14 tips. Now, another one that is, people talk about this quite a lot, is about micronutrients and antioxidants in your body. Micronutrients means many elements in your body that makes your body in balance in all terms, not just immunity, but your health, your mental, your circulation, everything. Antioxidants are elements that can get rid of the toxic things in your body from your normal metabolisms, or it can also help to slow down the degeneration or the aging of the cells. So this is the theory of micronutrients and antioxidants. Usually these two groups are in daily food, or some of them our body can make it ourselves, but sometimes it's not enough. or sometimes our diet is not that good, or even sometimes our genes cannot make this work well, or they just can use it well, or they eliminate it faster than usual. So it depends on many factors. For micronutrients and antioxidants, the only way that we can know that it's enough or not, or it's in balance or not, is doing blood test. We cannot tell by just seeing that, okay, you're healthy, you look fine, you do exercise, that means that these two are fine. No, it's not like that. But the reason that they're fine, because these the micronutrients and antioxidants are long-term effects. You might be healthy, you do everything good by now, but if there's something disturbing your normal health, or when you get older, then these might have some add-on effects on the condition. So it's like filling your health to make it as best as possible by trying to make micronutrients and antioxidants as in the optimum level as possible. Again, food that contains these two groups of elements, a big list, many pages. You can search again, but in general, it's in many fruits and vegetables, and also in meat. Well, when we talk about meat, I think you've heard about many types of diets. Some formulas, some regimens, okay, no meat at all, some no sugar, no carbohydrates, some just fat. So that tells us that all groups of food, that means carbohydrates, fat, they all have benefits. And at the same time, if we don't consume them properly, they might have some harm for us as well. So if we can have another topic afterwards, later, about diet directly, I think that could be another very useful topic to give you advice about all the diets. So today we're talking about immune. So I'll just come roughly about these things first. Okay, so maybe next time if we have another conference like this, we might talk about diets. Okay. About your immune system, as we talked earlier, that what can we do if we do everything already? We're doing those 3-4 lifestyles that I've just mentioned, and then your immune is still not healthy enough, which this depends individually. It depends on your nature, it depends on your genes or environmental factors, toxic substance around you. So there are many factors about this. Or even you think your immune is quite good enough, but if there's some big outbreaks like this and you need to boost it up a little bit more, what can we do? Now, I'll talk about 3 options today, about 3 medical treatments today that might boost up your immune at another level. First of all, I'd like to declare that it doesn't mean that when you boost your immune, you won't have COVID or you will deal with every infection in the world. So it's not like that. It's just about that you lessen the risk of having whatever infection from boosting up your immune system. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have it, but it makes the risk a bit lower. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is ozone therapy. Ozone is, I'm sure you've heard about ozone. Ozone is a gas, a natural gas. It's everywhere, but usually it's in the atmosphere just to prevent Earth from ultraviolet or something like that. Ozone was discovered in medicine for medical use for about 150 years already. At that time, they use it for infected wounds, they use it for some infections. At that time, we realized already that if we use it as an inhaler, if we inhale ozone, it would damage your lungs, your bronchus, your respiratory system. So ozone should not be inhaled. Ozone for medical treatment we use by intravenous treatment. In the past, there are some even topical treatments some creams like that, but it didn't work that well. So mainly it's about putting in your bloodstream. What we do by ozone therapy is that we take your blood out, we draw your blood out, and then mix it with ozone. We have a machine that generates ozone, and then we put it back in your bloodstream at the same line. So you just have one puncture here, and keep the line here, draw your blood out, mix with ozone, and then drip it back into your body, infuse it back into your body. The whole process takes about 45 minutes. Now the benefit of ozone is, there are many benefits of ozone, because we, as I mentioned, that hundreds of years ago, doctors noticed that it helps about infection. It makes infection heal better, especially infected wounds in World War I and II. Ozone, the first thing is it can destroy some cell wall of some bacteria, or stop the replication to not make it multiply in your body too much. It restricts the number or even kills some bacteria by attacking its cell wall. The second benefit is that it can boost up your immune system by activating some cytokines or some substrates in your body that helps the immune system to kill the invaders. And other than this, ozone can also make your physical, mental quite fresh at daytime. You feel more active, and also make you sleep better at nighttime. Okay, ozone usually for immune boosting, we recommend to repeat it, maybe weekly for maybe 3 or 4 times, just to make sure that the level of immunity is boosted up by ozone properly. The first time, actually for the first time, it boosts up in a certain level already, but for full efficacy, we recommend to do it maybe 3 to 4 times if possible. But 1 is still quite okay at a level, because we need to increase up the dose of ozone gradually for each infusion. So this ozone in general, it helps about your boost up your immune system. It increases the antioxidant level as well. It can kill bacteria directly by itself, and also makes your body fresh and improves your sleep. This is a conclusion of ozone. Okay. Second treatment that I would like to talk about is what we call the Myers cocktail. This is also an infusion, and this is consisted of vitamins and some elements such as magnesium. Vitamins includes mostly vitamin C at a higher dose at the tablets that we're taking. We use high dose vitamins, not that high, but higher than usual. Because if we aim for antioxidant effect or immune boosting, we believe that vitamin C should be the main one. There's also vitamin B complex, vitamin B6, and magnesium as well. So all these have their own properties for helping our body. But in general, it boosts up not just your immune system, but it can relieve your fatigue, your stress. It makes you more relaxed. I mean, your overall system. Also, sometimes we use for some medical conditions such as muscle pain as an add-on treatment. I mean, if you have a conventional treatment from your physician, we can use Myer cocktails as an add-on complementary treatment, especially for chronic muscle pain. This is quite useful in my patients. So for Myers cocktail, it's an infusion as well. It takes, again, another 45 minutes. And you can use the same line as ozone. So after you finish the ozone, you can continue with this Myer cocktail therapy. So this is the second one. The last one I would like to talk about is we call the Weber laser. This laser is not laser that you might imagine that it's like a ray putting on your skin or to treat your eye problems. But this is a laser that we put into your bloodstream as well. The method is we have a generator of this laser, and then there's a catheter, as you see in the picture here, in the slide here. We insert this catheter in your intravenous line. You can do it at the same time as when you're having the Myers cocktail. During the Myer, you use this laser into the same line, and then wait for about 30 minutes, and then we're done. So Myer takes 45 minutes. This laser takes about just 30 minutes, and then we put the catheter off, and then you continue the remaining of the Myers cocktail. Okay, so we can do all three of these all at once. Now, Weaver laser, what does it do? Actually, Weaver laser, there are medical research that shows that it might have some benefits for many, many conditions. In the past 10, 15 years, the studies are coming out quite a lot. Again, it's not the main treatment, but it's an add-on or complementary to boost up or help in some certain conditions. There are 4 main colors of lasers and another 2 special ones, such as infrared and ultraviolet lasers. But we talk about the 4 colors as the main treatment for conditions. For immune system, for boosting up the immune system, we use the red and blue. We use only 2 of the 4. The red laser, it helps about mainly about the circulation. It helps about the antioxidant effect. It helps about boosting up the immune system in some ways, but mainly it's about the circulation. It helps the oxygen flow to reach all parts of your body better. So this is the benefit of the red laser. The blue laser, it helps about repairing your damaged cells. It helps about cognitive function. For example, if you have brain fog, you have a lot of work, you feel that your brain is so slow, you feel tired, mental fatigue. Blue laser might be another additional treatment for you to make your brain a bit more fresher. So for this immune boosting function, we use the red and blue laser, and we can do all 3 within the ozone, and then followed by Myers plus Weaver, all together within 1.5 or 2 hours. Okay, so these are the 3 recommendations that I'm mentioning. Oh, okay, it's here. This is a slide that shows the benefit of the red laser and blue lasers. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention about the red laser. Another good benefit is that it can promote your sleep. It enhances the melatonin production as well. So sleep can be better when you use the red laser. Now, this is just another additional one. I mentioned about all the 3 main ones. This is the supplements that you can take orally, just using these tablets to boost. It contains of many supplements and vitamins that are responsible for boosting up your immune system or making your body fresh, active, and healthy, and fresh to fight all the stressful situations, either mentally or physically. I'm not going through the ingredients because there's a number of ingredients here, but in general, the purpose of this supplement is almost like the first 3 that I mentioned, but not that intensive as the infusion form. So this is best for maintaining your level. That means that you take this for maybe another month after boosting up with the 3 first infusions, so it will be complementary with each other. Okay, now the physical issue has finished. So now another very, very important issue is about the mental health issue, right? Because one thing that spreads faster than COVID is the COVID panic. Okay? The panic that is caused from COVID, which you can see that, yeah, it causes a lot of stress problems, a lot of mental conditions. People who have depression before, but has remission and fine for a while, during this COVID period, the depression recurs again, something like that. Also, not just about the COVID, but about the work from home, about the closing many organizations or workplaces. It's about the financial issue. It's about the panic issue from infection and many things. So what should we do to cope with this? The first thing is, I think I'm sure that all of us now know how to prevent yourself personally from the COVID, right? Using masks, which I'm not using now because I'm in this very clear room and I'm not close to anyone here. But actually I should wear it. Well, wearing masks, social distancing, right? Stay away from other people, not touching things too unnecessarily, things, I mean, in the public, washing your hands regularly, be careful about when you eat using the spoons or whatever. So I'm not going through this because there are a lot of advice during the past 2 months. Okay, so what I would like to talk about is how to manage your stress, even you feel that you're doing all these preventions and then you're still worried, right? And is it possible that you can still be infected even you're preventing everything like this? The answer is yes, of course. I mean, you cannot prevent everything 100%. So what you should do is that the first thing, okay, going to the panic first. The panic thing is, one main thing is because yourself, you get obsessed to the news, to the updates of the panic. Every hour, every 2 hours, you follow your Facebook, your Line, the television, everything, and you don't watch any other things other than COVID news, right? So the first thing you need to do is don't be obsessed with it too much, okay? Especially when there's some sharing in social medias. As you know, there are some fake news, fake sharings, and then it causes more panic. So my first advice is about following news of COVID is don't be too obsessed. You don't have to follow every hour, maybe just twice a day or something like that. And also you follow from reliable sources, such as medical institutes or the government, not just from some social media from someone who shared with you. Okay, so then you have a group of panic people talking together in the social media. So be careful about news perception. That's very important. Number two is that if you feel that you're still stressful or you're worried, if you're taking care of yourself good enough, use the gears that I mentioned, I can tell that the chance of infection is pretty low. From the number of infections, you can see that I mean, it's spreading as well. But if in most people that has the infection, okay, they have old age, poor immunity, but some people, as we know from the early parts of COVID, they're not that aware. There are some countries that you can see this very clearly. Some countries that they are not aware of COVID at all, and they don't believe in the social distancing or everything. You can see the numbers of those countries very well. So this is about awareness. So just think that if you're fully aware like this, the chance, okay, there's still a chance, but the chance is not that bad, that much at all. Especially if you stay at home, as a government advice, stay at home, work from home, and be very, very careful about your daily life. That should be fine. And in worst case, if you're infected, the severe case ratio is very low as well. Maybe the death rate is just maybe less than 2%. In Thailand, I think only maybe 1%, a bit more than 1%. So and most are immune compromised patients or elderly. So don't worry much about this. If you're doing the best that you can, as they advised, as a government advice or medical institutes advice, that should be fine. Okay. Enjoy with your family. So use this opportunity as a vacation. Stay at your home, do your hobbies, play games with your family, exercise at home with the whole family. That would be great. Watch TV, whatever. Okay. The second thing is that you use this opportunity to take care of your physical health. You have more spare time. You don't have to expose to the pollution anymore like before. You don't have to go outside. You stay at home. So your home is such, well, we expect that your home should be cleaner than outside, right? So you're safe at one level already. Well, by staying home, you have more time with your family, more time for doing exercise. You do your whole family exercise, or use your treadmill and then play games with your family with the treadmill or whatever. You just design something to make the family bond better. Use this opportunity to make the bond even better, and also your health at the same time. Another thing that should help much is that you stay connected. I mean, don't isolate yourself. Some people, when they get worried about this, they just stay in the bedroom, very worried, and then they get depressed. So you can talk with others, but be careful about the information. Maybe you don't have to talk about COVID all the time. Talk about your school days, your kid days. So do something that make you and your group enjoy. Okay, and finally, stay positive. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so okay. The next question. Many of my patients ask me. Sometimes they call that should you go to the hospital at this period, or just stay at home or avoid hospital? Actually, for Bumrungrad Hospital and VitalLife, I can't talk about every hospital because I don't know the system, but for Bumrungrad and VitalLife, we have a very, very good policy in terms of screening and to prevent the best for getting infected. And it's, let's say that the first step that you come into the building, there's a screening system, a flow for patients to try not to mix the patient with unscreened patients or and screened patients, and alcohol gel at every point. I mean, so at the hospital, policy is very strong. So no need to worry much if you really need to come to the hospital. Now, how necessary? If you're quite old, if you're 60s, 70s, you feel that your immune system is not that good, you don't want to come out of the house, you can call a doctor. Okay, I'll talk about that on the next slide. So the main thing is that if it's an emergency, don't hesitate, you need to come. Okay, if you fall down and had head injuries or whatever, no question, you should come. It's not worth panic of the COVID and then you have a brain hemorrhage or something. So if it's emergency, just come right away. If it's not that urgent or it's not that serious, but you're not sure, you can call the hospital and ask the nurse or the doctors. And more than that, we have a system that we call the telemedicine. Okay. So we have the telemedicine on the left-hand side of the slide. So if you need to consult your doctors or a physician in whatever problem, and you don't feel that you want to go out of your house, you can use this service. You can ask details by 1378, right? It's a hotline for the hospital, and then we can make an appointment to see the doctor that you need or the specialist that you need, and we can our customer service will tell you the details about the service. Okay, teleconsultation. So this is the first one that you can do in case that you're not sure that you should come to the hospital or not. The second service that we have is it's a home health care. So home health care is that, for example, if you need to refill your medication, you can call us. We can send it by mail for you if you are existing patient at the Bumrungrad Hospital already, or we can do some blood tests at your home as well. We can send our staff to do blood tests. For example, if you have diabetes and it's time to do the blood test, or whatever condition that you need a blood test at this time, and you don't want to come to the hospital, you're 70 years old, you don't want to expose outside, you can call us, and then we can send our staff to collect your blood test at home. Also, even the flu shot. We have a flu shot. Okay, because I'm talking about flu shot because this is the flu shot season. Okay, around April, May, it's a time that we do the flu shots, the annual flu shots. So if you don't feel that you want to come outside or come to the hospital, you can call us 1378 as well, and then we can go to give the flu shots at your home right away. Not right away, but not too long. Okay. Okay, so these are services that we have and all the contents about boosting up your immune system, about your lifestyle, what you can do, and also some additional medical helps about the ozone, the Myers cocktail, the laser, and the supplements. So I think that should be all. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to discuss with you.
Thank you, Doctor, for the presentation. We actually have many questions, and you can see many of them. Sorry. Yeah, you can see many of them on the chat. Can you respond to it, Doctor?
Yeah, conversation.
Oh, I can see it now. Okay. Okay, thank you. So I'll scroll down. Okay. So the top one comes first, right?
Yes.
Okay. No, this is a technical one. I can't see the questions. This is about the technical. I can't see the shot here. I can see the shot, but it's our shot.
Doctor, one question is, what do you suggest the most convenient activity just before you go to bed?
Okay.
Reading a book or what you suggest?
Okay.
Still one question.
Okay, thank you. Actually, reading a book is okay, but don't read it seriously. I mean, whatever you do at bedtime, you should make it slowly. Listen to soft music, light music. That's one of the best recommendations, because some light music can affect some of your brain waves to make it more relaxed. So listen to soft music. That's the best way to do it. Reading a book is also used by many people, but this you have to be a bit careful, because sometimes, for example, if you read some very exciting novels or something, and then you cannot stop reading, and then your brain is obsessed into the story, and then that's a problem, because your brain is more active. So if reading is just a relaxing book, that's fine, and then you can control yourself. I'm sorry. And then at an appropriate timing, enough light, that would be fine. Another thing that you should not do is watching television to fall asleep. Watching television to fall asleep, there are many factors that harms your health. That means that at least the light, the ray from the television, the content, the sound, and also if it's a movie, it makes you excited as well. So your brain will be obsessed with the story there. It will not be resting well. So reading a book is okay if you can control it well. Listen to light music is the best recommendation at the moment. Okay. Number 2.
Doctor, the second question is, how much someone must wait after dinner before going to sleep?
Okay. So so the question is, the main thing is you should not have dinner and then go to bed right away, right? The question is something like that. Actually, we know that our body needs at least maybe half an hour to 1 hour to digest all the food here, and then after that, the bowel is the next step after the stomach, right? To try the bowel movement will be increased at that time after the food is passed to the bowel. So at least the recommendation is at least two is a minimum, 2 to 3 hours after sleep, after dinner. Then if you want to go to bed, that's quite okay. And it's best to have a little walk after dinner. That means that to make your bowel movement better, so the food can pass more easier and not make you have a bloating problem or something like that. So 2 to 3 hours after dinner and then you go to sleep, that's quite okay. Okay, number 3. Okay, but maybe you can read so the audience can hear.
Okay. The next question is, how do you control the brain during daytime that it will not be overloaded?
Okay, this is a very good question and a very good point. This is, I mean, one of the main problems in office workers nowadays. How do you control? The first thing is timing, just as I mentioned in the lecture, that your brain actually can focus best, actually just maybe half an hour or maximally 45 minutes. So let's make it simple to put it 1 hour. Let's say that when you work 1 hour, you have a short break. Every hour you have a 5 to 10 minute break. And the break is not just closing your eyes in front of your work, because while you're closing your eyes, your brain cannot stop thinking about your work that you've just done, right? So the meaning of the break here is walk away from your workstation, go to the toilet, have a glass of water, talk to your friends, look at the birds, whatever, for 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back here again, and then work again. Another hour, have a break again. So this is limiting your overload by timing. This is the best thing that you can do. Now, the other thing is about the level of stress. This is quite difficult because, as you know, each of us has different work job descriptions or work types. So some jobs are not stressful at all. Some jobs are really stressful, and to tell you don't be stressful, that's quite impossible, right? So what you need to do is, if you feel that your job is quite stressful, even you have a 1 hour break and it's not enough, you might shorten to 45-minute break. It might help at another level. And also, if you have a lot of stress, you realize that you have a lot of stress, something else can help. For example, you can train some mindfulness or meditation if possible. But if you don't have time or you're not used to meditation, just mindfulness, just a couple of times a day. In long term, it's proved in scientific studies that it helps the brain definitely. So you can go and search for mindfulness and try to do that. That can ease a lot of stress and make your brain more relaxed.
Excuse me, MJ.
Sorry, I will ask the question again. Mr. Daniel asks a question, and he says, any suggestions how to fall asleep easy again at night when we wake up during the night? Thank you.
Okay. So this is another big problem. When you wake up in the middle of the night, should you wake up and do something to fall sleepy again, or should you try to keep on sleeping? Okay. Actually, there are two different ideas. 20 years ago, when I was just a young neurologist at that time, I hope I'm still young. They recommended to just try to keep on sleeping. Okay, don't go up, don't do anything, because it would activate your brain up again. So just try to relax. That's all. And sometimes it's not that easy. So the new trends, there are some other associations about sleep that comes out and say that you should, if you feel that you cannot push yourself to sleep again, fall asleep again in the middle of the night, just get up and do something, but do something soft, such as go up into the kitchen, have a glass of water, or go and look at the picture in your room, or whatever. It's for just maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back to go to bed again. So you can try either. At first, you try to fall asleep by yourself again. Maybe if it doesn't work after 15 minutes, then you might use a second method. Okay, in Thai culture, in the past they tell that I'm not sure in other countries as well or not, that if you can't sleep, just count 1 to 100. If you can't fall asleep, go up to 1,000, 10,000, and then finally, okay, it's morning time. so I think the counting, I'm not sure it works or not.
Okay, doctor. We have another interesting question. It's about gene therapy. So the question is, will gene therapy be considered to boost our immune system also? And does Bumrungrad have something like this presently?
Okay, thank you. This is another very interesting question, because as you know, the DNA or genomics is coming very fast right now. Now we know a lot of information about our health, or how we should take medications from our genes. So we've been talking about just gene therapy. We're talking about gene therapy for many conditions. Immune boosting is definitely one of the aim if we can do that. But at this point, at this current medical era, we cannot do that at the moment. But it's in the plot. It depends on, we need further studies about genes. Actually, the genes came through for several decades ago, but in the past, maybe 5 years, 10 years, we have known a lot more. But we're not at the level that we can boost our immunity from gene therapy at this point. But I'm sure that it will not be too far. It will not be too far. Not just for boosting immunity, but for many other conditions as well.
Thank you, doctor. The next question is regarding the ozone therapy. How much blood should you take out for this process? And is there going to be any after effect of the ozone therapy? Okay,
thank you. Ozone, actually, we take about 50 milliliters of blood. And that's quite a very small amount. And actually, before doing the ozone therapy, we do blood pressure tests, we do history taking about underlying disease. Do you have hypotension, I mean low blood pressure or not? Have you slept well last night? So we screen just when you're gonna donate blood, something like that. So to make sure that you're safe enough, and we're doing it in our medical center, in the hospital. So there's doctors around, nurses around, emergency cars around. So it's very unlikely to have anything happening, because the amount of blood is very small, very little. Some people can, after the ozone therapy, some people might feel a bit sleepy just in a small number of patients, and very few have some little dizziness. But in my personal experience, I haven't seen any of those. Most of them are fine, can walk out, almost running out of the treatment bed, going home fresh. So it's very unlikely to have any problems with the ozone, because the amount of blood is very little.
Okay, thank you, doctor. In case someone needs a follow-up, please do write in case you need more information from doctor. And now I move to the next question, doctor. This is quite long. Mr. Michele says, I saw several articles that promote sleep with short naps all over 24 hours in order to decrease the number of hours needed to the body down to 3 or 4 hours of sleep per day, and benefit of 20 hours a day of activity. Do you think this is real? Because we hear many politicians or busy people just sleeping a few hours per night.
Personally, I don't agree with daytime naps, but the recommendation is you should not have naps after 3 p.m.
muted.
I mean, roughly. You should have the. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll start it again. Well, personally, I don't agree with that because we know that, as I mentioned earlier, that the circadian rhythm is very important for our life, even our lifespan or our general health. There are studies that people who sleep very little have shorter lifespans, and this is very clear. Or have some health conditions, health problems coming up more than people who sleep properly. Talking about day naps. What you can do about day naps is that you should not have the day nap too late in the day. That means that you should not have naps after maybe 3 p.m. You can have it 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And also the naps should not be too long, maybe 60 or 90 minutes, okay, or maximally 2 hours. I think usually it's about one or 1.5 hours approximately, or even half an hour. So the recommended day naps are just like this. If for the regimen that you mentioned, if you have naps all day long, I mean scattering all day long, this definitely will disturb the circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythm is very important, not just for your sleep or your daytime activity, but if your circadian rhythm is disturbed or ruined, it affects your immune system, it affects your blood pressure, it affects your temperature control, it affects so many things. You are prone to infection more than people who sleep according to the circadian rhythm. So sleep or circadian rhythm is another very, very big topic that maybe if we have a chance, we can talk about sleep all hour or 2 hours, because there are so many details and there are so many studies that shows that how important the circadian rhythm has. Okay, so the answer is personally I don't agree with sleeping. I mean nap all day, little naps all day long.
The next question, doctor, is also related to sleeping in naps, but let's say more at night time. So say you need about 7 hours like you recommend. Say someone sleeps for 4 hours, gets up, does the activity, and then again sleeps for the remaining 3 hours. What would your recommendation be on this?
Well, again, the best cycle is throughout the night, right? At nighttime, the 7 hours that I mentioned. But in some circumstances, people talk about the accumulating effect of sleep time, and that is true in the studies. But we should not do it regularly. We just do it in some important periods. For example, it's New Year. You have 3 parties in a week, right? That you sleep at 4 a.m. or something like that. You have 3 parties in 7 days, and then you can accumulate the rest of your sleeping time at daytime sometimes, but not doing that regularly for your whole life or the whole year, for just some special events. And because there are some studies that shows that the accumulation time of sleep can help in some certain periods of time. I mean, not regularly.
Okay, thank you so much. So we are actually over time, and I have just time for one more question. If someone has one question, you can type it in, or you can say it out loud. Just one question more. We have one last question, doctor. Someone asked, how do you know when the different therapies are needed? Like, is there a sign your body shows, or how does someone know that they need to get the different therapies like ozone the cocktail therapies. What is the sign that tells you this?
Okay, thank you. Actually, you don't need a sign because the aim is we do this immune boosting in healthy people. As I mentioned that we never know that what level our immune system is, except in some very clear low immune people, people with uncontrolled diabetes, people are taking steroids or medications that suppress your immune system, people who have a liver transplantation or kidney transplantation that needs some medication to suppress the immunity. So those are clear cut. I mean, the immunity is so low. But in healthy people, the level of immunity, we cannot tell by any symptoms. This person might be this level, this person might be this level, while they look alike, they look both healthy. So in terms of immune boosting, the purpose is to boost up as possible, to make the risk of infection as less as possible. So answering your question is that, are there any signs that you should use the immune system? For this purpose, especially the COVID thing, no, everyone can have this boosting because we don't know our immune system. Even your immune system is very, very good. You use this, it can boost up a little bit more because there's no maximum effect for immune system. It's just a wide range here. So no signs.
Okay, doctor, thank you so much. And that's it for us from the Q&A. I'd just like to tell everyone thank you. And if Mr. Michele is there, he can conclude this seminar. Michele, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Njay, for managing like the Q&A session. I would like to thank, of course, Bumrungrad Hospital for the opportunity, and of course, I would like to thank also Dr. Ketchai for helping us in this dissertation. And of course, the video of the seminar will be available on TICC YouTube channel, and it will be shared also with the colleagues of the Canadian Chamber. We thank also the Canadian Chamber to support this event, and again, Bumrungrad Hospital. So thank you very much, and again, have a good day and stay safe.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For everyone in the room, please join us for the next webinar on Thursday. Thank you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.